Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up because the Carolina Panthers are about to shake the very foundation of this league. We are hearing whispers that could completely redefine the roster before we even hit training camp. From a potential blockbuster signing of an all-pro receiver to a controversial trade rumor involving one of our brightest young running backs, the stakes have never been higher. You need to stay ahead of this news cycle. We are pushing hard to build this community to 1,000 subscribers. So if you love this team, hit that button right now and let's get into it.
Let's start with a bombshell report that is circulating around the league offices right now involving a legitimate superstar potentially landing in Charlotte. We are talking about Stefon Diggs. The word on the street is that the New England Patriots might be looking to move on, and if they decide to release the veteran playmaker, the Carolina Panthers have emerged as the absolute ideal landing spot. From a pure football standpoint, this makes too much sense to ignore. You look at what Bryce Young needs more than anything else in this world, and it is a reliable veteran presence who knows how to get open when the play breaks down. Diggs is not just a route runner, he is a culture shifter who demands excellence on every single snap. Adam Schefter would tell you to look at the salary cap implications and the roster flexibility, but I am telling you to look at the desperation. This franchise has been starving for a true number one option who has been there and done that at the highest level. Bringing in Diggs would send a message to the entire NFC South that Carolina is done being the doormat. It is about attitude, swagger, and production. However, you have to ask yourself if the front office is willing to handle the personality that comes with the talent. We have seen how volatile things can get when Diggs is unhappy, but frankly, when you are winning, nobody cares about the noise. The Panthers need talent, period. If he hits the open market, Carolina must be the first phone call. It is a low-risk, high-reward scenario that could finally unlock this offense. But here's the thing, adding a receiver is useless if you cannot stop the run on the other side of the ball. The defense has been bleeding yards for far too long, and unless they address the gaping hole in the middle of the field, all the touchdowns in the world won't matter. This leads us directly to a massive defensive update that you need to hear.
If you want to stay ahead of every breaking report and exclusive rumor surrounding the Carolina Panthers, make sure you subscribe to the channel right now. Don't miss a single update as we track this offseason.
While the offense grabs the headlines, the real story might be happening on the defensive side of the ball, where the Panthers are reportedly the frontrunners for a tackling machine. Sources are indicating that Carolina is the prime destination for an elite linebacker who just racked up 124 tackles last season. This is not just a depth signing, this is about finding the quarterback of the defense. When you look at the film, you see a player who plays with his hair on fire, filling gaps and punishing running backs between the tackles. The Panthers have suffered from chronic deficiencies at the second level for years, and frankly, it has been embarrassing to watch teams run the ball down their throats in the fourth quarter. You cannot compete in the NFL if you are soft in the middle. Acquiring a linebacker with this kind of production changes the geometry of the defense. It allows the defensive coordinator to be more aggressive with blitz packages because he knows he has a cleanup hitter behind the defensive line. This is exactly the kind of move that turns a bottom feeder defense into a respectable unit overnight. We are talking about instinct, speed, and violence. The data supports this move completely, as the Panthers gave up way too many yards after contact last year. Bringing in a guy who secures the tackle immediately is paramount. It is a fundamental need that has gone unaddressed for far too long, and finally, it seems the front office is waking up to reality. However, fixing the defense and adding a veteran receiver is great, but it means nothing if you start trading away your young assets before they even have a chance to shine. There is a disturbing rumor floating around regarding the backfield that has me absolutely furious, and if this report is true, we need to have a serious conversation about the long-term vision of this franchise because it involves Jonathan Brooks.
This next report is something that honestly makes me want to scream because it defies all logical explanation. There are legitimate insider whispers suggesting a change of scenery for running back Jonathan Brooks. Yes, you heard me correctly. Despite being a young, explosive talent that this team invested in, there are people in the building suggesting he might be better off elsewhere. Are you kidding me? This young man has barely had a cup of coffee in the league, and we are already talking about shipping him out? The narrative is split right down the middle. One side of the media argues he just needs time to get back to full health and find his rhythm, which is the only sensible take. But the fact that trade rumors are even surfacing is an indictment on the patience of this organization. You draft a player like Brooks because of his upside and his ability to be a home run hitter. You do not give up on that kind of talent because of a slow start or injury concerns in his rookie window. It is preposterous. If the Panthers move on from him now, they are admitting a draft failure before the ink is even dry on his jersey. We need to see him fully healthy and running behind a competent offensive line before making any rash decisions. However, where there is smoke, there is usually fire, and this suggests a disconnect between the coaching staff and the front office regarding his future. It creates an unnecessary distraction at a time when focus should be on development. If they trade him, they better get a king's ransom, where the fan base will riot. But maybe, just maybe, they are clearing space for a different kind of offensive philosophy. This potential exit brings us to the upcoming draft, where the strategy seems to be shifting heavily toward the passing game to support a specific superstar.
Finally, we turn our eyes to the future and the upcoming NFL Draft on April 23rd, where the strategy is becoming crystal clear. The analysts are buzzing with reports that the Carolina Panthers are laser-focused on finding the perfect complement to Tyrone McMillan. This is a massive revelation. It tells us that the organization is fully committed to building an air raid-style offense to support their quarterback in 2026 and beyond. They are not just looking for a receiver. They are looking for a Robin to McMillan's Batman. The goal is to create a receiving core that keeps defensive coordinators awake at night. You look at the modern NFL, and it is an arms race. If you cannot score 30 points, you cannot win consistently. By targeting a partner for McMillan, the Panthers are trying to replicate what we have seen in Cincinnati or Miami, where you have two alpha receivers who can dominate a game. It is a bold strategy, but it is the right one. You cannot leave your quarterback on an island with no weapons. This potential draft pick, combined with the possible addition of a veteran like Diggs, would completely transform the identity of this team, from a sputtering engine to a high-octane machine. It is aggressive, it is necessary, and quite frankly, it is about time. The front office knows their jobs are on the line, and they are swinging for the fences. This draft is going to define the next 5 years of Carolina football. If they hit on this pick, the rebuild is officially over. If they miss, we are back to square one. The pressure is mounting, the clock is ticking, and the decisions made in the next few weeks will determine if this team rises from the ashes or stays buried in the basement of the NFC South forever.
This is absolutely a defining moment for the Carolina Panthers. We are looking at a potential roster overhaul that includes veteran leadership, defensive grit, and controversial trades. It is a lot to process, but that is the reality of the NFL. I need to hear from you right now in the comments section. Do you think the Panthers should trade Jonathan Brooks, or is that a massive mistake? And would you sign Stefon Diggs? Let your voice be heard, because this is your team. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe as we march toward 1,000 subscribers. We are in this together, and I will see you next time with more exclusive updates. Keep pounding.